Okay, so what I've done is I've hooked up the sweep generator onto the input onto the primary. Well, I actually don't know that I have it on the primary. I think I have it on the primary side. And the scope is looking at the secondary, and I don't see any peak in that. It looks like what's going in is coming out straight through. So I don't know what that means. Could mean the way I've set the test up is bogus. That's what I'm gambling on. The gamble is I'm going to turn on this radio and see if it works. Given what I've done to it, I'm going to have to solve this situation up here. Yeah, okay, I'm going to solve that first. Okay, I think we're ready to start this guy up and see what happens. Volume down. Hey, I'm anticipating lots of volume. Let's take the antenna off here. For now, I'll start it with nothing. Speaker's connected. My output meter's connected for no reason. I'm going to disconnect it. Just going to get rid of a little bit of wire here. Okay. Well, now, what could go wrong? Seems to me I was working... Hey, what's the focus there? Seems to me I was working on the secondary side of this. I left the primary alone. Assuming I didn't generate a short circuit into the can here by leaving that cardboard out. It's really pretty unlikely that there's a short in there. Gamble worth taking. Okay, so we're going to fire it up using dim bulbs here and lower the voltage. Well, I hope this works. Volume up. Come on, baby. Now, if something's really wrong, what would happen? Well, like if we saw smoke come out of this can, no, that would be a bad thing. Come on, radio. Oh, I can just see the dim bulb coming up. That means the tubes are starting to conduct. The voltage we're running at is too low. Let's take it up. Keep the lights in. Yeah, up well above 90 here. It's 95 volts. The radio should be working. Yeah, that's really not very good at all. You can't even hear that. Can I hear that? You know, there could be 2 or 3 things wrong with this at the same time. So if, I fix one and it doesn't improve it, it doesn't mean that what I've done didn't actually fix something. But I kind of have my doubts here. Big time doubts. Hey, no antenna. Quick, there's some hope now. Hope quickly fades. Yeah, it didn't do anything. Barely hear it in the speaker. It's not appropriate to be touching an antenna to these, but well, the situation is bad. Very, very bad. Let me jam into here 455 kilohertz and see if it comes out the speaker. 455, eh? 'Cause I have my signal generator running over here. How did this get up here? How did this get all pulled up here? Okay. Right in there. I need to hook up the lead here. I'm going to be careful around that. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to try to stick 455 kilohertz into here. It should go through the speaker, through the radio, and come out the speaker. We'll just do one lead first. Is the volume? Maybe I turned it way down. It is turned right up. Oh boy, this is really not good at all. Just a very low, grumbly hum there. Rumbly hum. Okay, so if we feed it in, the signal generator is capacitor protected the way it is right now, but I'm going to add one in here. Where'd it go? There it is. Just because again I'm a chicken. I want it to go into the tube. That's where we're aiming. Wow. Good lead free there. Just a big... Well, this might stop the humble bumble. Hey, what do you hear there? I hear something. So that's a moderate signal, but I don't know how much signal you would need to pump in here to get it to come through. It's coming through though. So let me bump it up a little bit over there. Volume. The higher tone. What that says is if you can get a 455 signal here, a modulated one, you're going to hear the modulation in the speaker. It's kind of saying there's no 455 getting here, so that's like 6 things now telling me there's a problem right here. Oh boy, I don't want to take the coil back out, but I think that's where I'm heading. But I'm going to try to think of some stuff to do before doing that. In case the problem really does lie outside the transformer, and I'm wasting my time poking around inside it. Well, this is really not going so well. You know, the other possibility is to feed in a signal. Well, the radio's tuned to around 900. So we're going to pound a 900 signal into this radio. Shoot. Okay, pounding away here. We're already pounding a big signal in there. Oh no, we wanted 900. Here we come. So I know you have trouble seeing it. It's 975 now. I can't put any more signal into this. So we're going to skip here, and we're going to go right up on here. I don't know if this is on the broadcast band. I don't know. Right now, I happen to know for sure that the broadcast band is this way. That's definitely the broadcast band. So, and we are definitely tuned around. We're like 850 on the dial there. 850, so I would have gone right by it here. Loads of juice. Let me just double check. Juicy, oh yeah. It's putting out. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And we're running at running it at 96 volts. Hold on. You're drawing a lot of bad conclusions here. Let's run this. I mean, it looks like it's safe to run right from the outlet, so let's do that. Ba-boom. Oh yeah, we definitely ran that at some high voltage there. That, if you could hear that little funny ticking sound, it was this meter over here going off scale and banging at the upper end because I had too much voltage. So now we're at 115. That's got to be enough. The volume is up full. Don't hear a thing now. Volume up full. Strange 50 volt negative voltage in there before. Feeding at 800 and something. That's right, gotta tune this. Gotta tune this to be sure. Right past 900. So we're almost at 1,000. 850's back here. Not a thing coming through. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. How do I know for sure it's not reaching this point? So I'm going to introduce the signal tracer. Okay, ground's on the chassis. Ground on the chassis. We're going to listen to what's going on in this radio. I don't think we're going to hear too much though. So the first thing we want to do is we would like to hear what is on the primary side of this transformer, which is the output of the 6A8. Well, let's do this one step at a time. So we're feeding over here a signal 835 kilohertz. Okay, so I'm going to set up my signal tracer, this guy over here. Hey, my shop's becoming a real mess. We want to set it up for B 800 around 830, right around here. B. Okay, what's happening here? We should hear this loud and clear. 400. Is that something more amiss? What's going on here? Okay, don't quite panic, but boy, we should be hearing this. We're on B. This is band B. Hey, oh, I see the problem. I see the problem. That's better. Okay, now we'll probably hear it. Oh, careful, don't let that fly in there. That's a little better. So that proves there's a signal coming over here. Around 8:30 on this. Around 8:30 is just what's coming out of there. So we should be able now to trace the signal as it passes through the radio. But it's not going to go far because basically it goes into this tube and gets converted already. It should not be here. It's there a little bit. Should not be there because to get there it has to pass through this transformer, which apparently is supposed to be tuned so only 455 gets through. But 800's over here to some degree. It's another indication that there's something going on in here that's not right. It's possible I put it all back together and the wire separated again. It's quite possible. If the wire separated, then I would lose continuity between here and down here. I can check for that. Hey, I can check for that. Another thing is, yeah, I didn't talk about the AVC voltage, but let's check for that. That's a simple thing, resistance of the coil. I checked it before I put it in, but I never checked it afterwards. That was probably a bit of an oversight. Okay, radio's definitely off. How's my wonky meter doing? Appears to be telling the truth right now. I'm gonna put the meter there. Now, I'm going to do my best to read across the coil. How about this wire? How about this wire? This is the one I think it should be. Come on. Okay, how about this wire? There we are. Got something there. Wait a minute. This one to here. From here to here. Well, I can't find one that shows a short. That's not good. Now there's one more wire which goes up through a hole with the green wire and comes up. Yeah, can't tell. There's three in that hole. There's three. Yeah, okay, so I'm looking at the three goes through. One is black. Oh no, you're being fooled again, Jim. You're being fooled. Don't pay attention to that. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we test from here. There's only 3 wires that it could be involved with. Okay, I'm going to try this again. This could be 1 wire. What do you want to think of that? What does anybody want to offer an opinion on what just happened there? I'm touching the copper wire that's soldered up here. Okay, not that one. Okay, another one could be this red wire over here, which is probably carrying a B plus through the primary side. But this is the secondary side, so we shouldn't expect a red wire to do that. What was that? So I don't know what those little excursions are. Then the last wire, so this is the one that has to be working. Well, you little bugger, you. So, of the 3 wires coming out the bottom, 2 of them are primary wires. That would be this one, this red one, I would think. And I would take a wild guess that this would be the other one here. What do we get? We get 0. So what that's telling me is I know the primary side and it's continuous. You know, another possibility is to check B plus on the 6A8 too. So that would actually be a very good thing to do. So here we see that means it's the other 2 wires. That means it has to be this black one here. Oops. And this one. She just doesn't want to show me a 0. Okay, that's a long session here. So that can's got to come out again. I'll have to do the whole thing over and figure out what's going on inside that can. Probably the wire I soldered separated again. Oh my gosh. I can already see the wire is separated from where I repaired it. So either it just broke it off again, it never actually got connected. Do I have to take this out any further? Maybe not. Why is this becoming so loose? Oh man. It's got to be the top screw. When you tighten it, must tighten the whole thing together. It must be the situation. So I don't have to take this can right off. I can work on it right there. Oh boy. So what I need to do, I think, is arrange a thin flexible wire to go from the terminal extension wire to the actual wire of the coil. Yeah, I think that's what I got to do. Because inevitably when I'm putting this together, I'm flexing this terminal, and there's 0 flexibility between the little stub of wire and this stiff extension. I need a flexible piece in there. I don't want to put a lot of wire in there. You're trying to do this with the least amount of wire possible. That's the challenge. What I've done here is I've taken a single strand of some stranded wire. I just took 1 strand off of this. I'm about to solder it onto the little extension there for step 1. Even this wire is stiff, but you know, how good can you get it? So fix it onto here. Kind of flying around there. We'll bring it over. Reduce the lighting a little bit. Might be a bit better. Okay, I'm going to take this wire. Whoa! Hold on to your tools. Bring it over where it needs to be. Whoops. This is really a make and break for this radio. This either gets fixed, or what do we got going there? chances are the wire in the coil is, of course, coated wire. It's insulated wire. The hope would be that somehow when you solder this, the solder finds a bit of uncoated metal. Looks like a pretty good target for soldering right there. Really blob it on. Well, it's just not a lot of wire sticking out of that coil. Like if it breaks off any further back, the whole situation just gets that much more difficult. Get the fish wire out of the coil, the waxed coil, without damaging other wires. Yikes. Okay, let me just make sure my soldering iron is tip top. Get anything? Well, my guess is it didn't even solder to the. I know that the camera view is really terrible, but my guess is it's just not really connected. No, it's not. If I can squeeze that down, let me get my soldering iron out of my hand here before I burn my eye out with it. Okay, one good squeeze with a pair of pliers might clamp those wires together. Well, I don't know that they're any more clamped. Let's try another solder up here. It's just the solder's just not going to go on those little wires. Blob it on. Big blob of solder. Come on, come on, come on, wires. Take it. Take that solder. Okay, now it looks good from what little I can see way out here. Let's get a close-up look with that close-up camera. See what it looks like. Well, lots of solder hanging around there. Oh boy, this does not look like it's attached. I don't think my wire extension has provided much mechanical isolation. The wire is straight across there. I should have had a zigzag in it, but even that's not going to help much. Like when I wiggle this terminal, don't do it. What I want to do is poke at this. Oops. Hey, that might be soldered. Barely. Barely, but barely's going to do. I think what we need to do now is make some resistance measurements and try to judge the conductivity through that connection, if it's there at all. Now I think I'm working on the secondary side. Secondary side, there's no current flow to worry about. The primary side there is. The secondary side there isn't. So tiniest little connection's probably going to do the trick there. Now I did this before. I think I got a good reading. And that would be from this terminal to this terminal. What's my meter? My meter's acting up again. Come on, behave. Newfangled things. I was going to say, I wish I had a meter with tubes in it. Well, I do. It's right here, for crying out loud. I got lots of meters with tubes in them. Okay. No, it doesn't show anything, does it? No. Nothing at all. She's a failure. Okay, let me poke at the connection a little harder and see that it isn't soldered. Wow, it's really hanging on. How can that not be soldered? Is there another problem? Is the other wire broken? Yeah, the wire looks good. Why did we not see continuity through there? Let's try putting this over here. Try continuity through my little extension. Yeah. So extension's good. Just didn't take. So getting the insulation off those wires is essentially impossible in the situation it's in there. And we should try crushing it and soldering it again and do that a few times until it makes connection. I think that's really the only way forward here. The idea of crushing it can also, if there's a coating on the other, there's almost certainly a coating. This could disrupt the coating a little bit, just enough to allow for a connection. Okay, now, let me get this thing back together without wrecking that. That's a really good question. Okay, thinking about how fragile that is while I'm doing this. Oh, it came right out. Lucky. Now I'm just going to put the top nut on. Yeah, I would put the top nut on if I could find it. Here it is. I think this is it. Ooh, that looks a little big. No, that's it. Okay. Let's try the sweep generator approach again, because we don't have to power up the radio. Okay, sweep generator. Took me a long time just to pull down a set of leads here. Okay. This is still running through the IF. So we want to feed the signal in. We do that back here. And there. I think that should do that. And then we want to look on the scope. Oh, still have it here. And that's going to be again from chassis. We'll try from chassis. This doesn't need to be connected here anymore to here. What we're hoping to see now is a response curve on the oscilloscope. We are sweeping right now. Sweeping almost no signal. I turn the signal up and just hope to heck we see something interesting on that scope. Assuming I've done all this right in terms of setting up this test. Here we go. That's pretty disappointing there. Have I really got this running full? Yep. So I may not have it connected into the transformer correctly. So with it, the scope connected, pretty certain that's an okay way to connect the output. The grid wire to the chassis. And then what if I move this over to here? Nothing on the scope. Let's just make sure that there is something to see on there. Right off the yeah, lots of signal there. Okay, so we want to do that. There's only 3 other wires, so I just try each one of them. This is one. Oh, bingo! That's kind of what we're looking for. Did I not get this clipped on the last moment? I guess not. Okay, there we are. There we are. It's weird. It's weird looking. But I'll take that. I'm going to guess that the tuning of this is so far out. That's why we're getting this weird shape here. It's definitely a weird shape. Let me try turning some of the capacitors there. We'll see what happens. Okay, let me stabilize this. Good. Oh, what's it doing there? Why did it jump like that? Okay. Get in there. There we go. Okay, what goes on when I turn this? Well, it goes down. Tightening up the capacitor here. Doesn't look right. And the other side. There we go. And turning that. It's not exactly what I'm hoping for. So what I'm hoping is the shape of this changes and this moves back and forth. Could be my test is bogus. I think the next test really is to test the radio. I think that's, I mean, obviously got some kind of interesting result here. Okay, let's put this in and stabilize this thing before it. Now it's after lunch. Check, see if it changed. Let's look. It has completely changed. Why? Oh, this is not connected here. Hey, what happened? Okay, so I had this clipped here. Did I turn it down? I did not. It's still up. What happened? It's gone away. It went away. How come you went away? So I'm going to wiggle the green wire at the top of the can a little bit and see if it's a make-break situation in there. Nothing happening. Sweep is still sweeping. Scope is still scoping. Is it? Is it? Oh, you know, I hooked it onto insulation here. Okay, so what we're seeing is the weird shape. Again, maybe because of the way I'm doing this test. The next test is test the radio. Test the radio up. It was really clever, and I put this cardboard up here so I wouldn't forget to put it on the coil. I didn't really take the coil out, did I? So actually, I couldn't have done it. Couldn't have done it. Okay, so the way we're making this connection is passing this wire through. And then clamping it down. Whoops. Pretty sure that's good enough. Take this off. Ready again. Are we ready once again? So, position here. I think I'm going to put the lower nut on here. Not quite. think it's cross-threaded here. Okay, we're not going to worry about that. It's gone for a ride under my bench, so we'll just leave it like this for now. Okay, volume down. We're good to go. This wire right here. Okay. Okay, I got my fingers crossed this time. Volume down. Ring the bell. This is way up a little high. We'll turn it down. Dim bulbs in. So far, so good. Get the antenna ready. Here it is. Okay, Mr. Radio, did I fix you or not? We're at 87, 84. Let's crank it up a bit more. Ooh, what was that sound? So I've noticed over the years, oh, you can't even see what I'm doing, that occasionally you can make paper sound just like an electric arc. There's just a way to do it. It's freaked me out a few times, including right now. Okay, this radio's got to be warmed up now. We're still at 83. Let's give it the full voltage treatment here. 9900. $110 volts. Turning up the volume. Come on, man. Come on. Not a thing. Turn down the volume. Let's turn it back up. Turn up the volume. Okay. First thing. I gotta stop. It's just going too long here. I'd love to keep doing this for the rest of the day, but okay, one more thing. We're going to do the signal trace approach here. Outdoor antenna. Nothing coming out of the speaker at all now. Volume's turned right up. Silent. I used to hear a little rumble. This is just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Okay, Mr. Tracer. Look for radio signals around 830. That's roughly where the radio's tuned. We look for a radio signal right on the cap of this tube here, which I can't get to. There's no radio signal even there. Wait a minute. That's what I'm expecting to hear. So, you know, we could be running into the incorrectly wired up antenna lead on this radio with this wire sticking out the back. You know, the other two would be, well, see, it depends what they've shorted together here. If they did this right at all. So I can bypass that. I can bypass the potential nonsense up there. I've been doing this. Let's do it again. And we're going to bypass the nonsense and come right in, basically right on the grid here. Okay, now we can hear something coming out of the radio. Is the volume up? But now that sounds okay. The volume control is controlling that hiss that you can hear. If I tune the radio, what's going to happen? I don't know. I'm not sure. How about the radio works? So the antenna signal gets to this point. Sometimes there's multiple terminals on these guys. Yeah. So there's another terminal down below. So this is actually hooked up to something else. That makes sense. So trying to trace the wire, what's hidden away back there. Can't hear it. My bench is just shaking. Sometimes I tune things in and this speaker's just going to town over here. Where am I tuned? Okay, maybe we can find a station down around here. Go back. Some noise. Okay, obviously I'm skipping lunch, it seems, today. We're going to pump another signal into here. Into the antenna. Or maybe up into that spot. So we have a controlled signal instead of just noise from an antenna. Tune the signal generator here until we hear it. If we hear it. I didn't hear it. There it is. That's a real hefty signal being piled right onto the grid of the 6A8. I can barely hear it coming out of this radio with its volume up full. very, very strong signal. So we're going to pick it off with this. Hear how loud it is now? Can actually turn down this radio a little bit. So all you need to hear the tone. Should not be here. I shouldn't say that. It could be here. Should not be here. So if this receiver is working right, it's tuned right now, then it should be producing a 455 signal here, which we should be able to hear. I use the word, there's two different hears, by the way. So I'm going to go band A, 450. There he is. If I put this on this supposed antenna, it should only be louder. Nobody home. I'm going to separate the joined wires here. Do it with my pliers. The idea of having separated wires in my fingers just doesn't ring well to me. Come on, I barely twisted these. Come on. Well, I did a good job. Okay, let's see what's going on. Now they're separated. My guess would be the green one is an antenna. Let's double check first before we go too far. Yeah, what happened? Disconnected these and the radio doesn't respond anymore? What happened? What are you doing? 810 into here. Why is it not coming out now? Because I turned the radio down a bit. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so everything's working the way it was. Lousy the way it was. Now we want to bring this around. I mean, how can if it's not blasting away on the grid cap, how can it blast away from back here? Nothing. Nothing. It's an awful lot of nothing in the front of this radio. Well, I'm lost. I gotta stop. I don't know what to do. think I'll just head for lunch.